Reggie Miller on the call. Western Conference Finals starts tonight. It'll be in Minnesota. Tip-off time, 8:30 Eastern. Kevin Harlan, Stan Van Gundy, Allie LaForce will be on the call with Reggie. Did you hear what Marvin had to say about you, Reggie, a couple minutes ago?
I did not. Please enlighten me.
All right. So,
Marvin?
Well, should Marvin summarize this? Because it feels like he's changing his story here of comparing Al Horford to Reggie Miller when it comes to career greatness. Yes, Paulie.
I'll try to be objective here. We were talking about Drew Holiday and how he might be in the Hall of Very Good, like a couple All-Star appearances. And then we got into Al Horford. Dan, you said Al Horford's on the cusp of the Hall of Fame.
I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
And Marvin said
Al Horford has as many All-Star appearances as Reggie Miller, which is crazy. And
you didn't say it was crazy. You were just, it felt like you were bringing Reggie down to earth. A little bit.
Oh, no. I'm 40. I'm old enough to remember Reggie when he played.
Okay, all right. How many times have you been compared to Al Horford in your life, Reggie?
I think this may be a first, gentlemen. Look, body of resume for Al. I think his longevity and what he has done with the Atlanta Hawks and obviously with the Celtics, being able to guard 1 through 5. You saw a lot of those switches in that Pacers series. He does a little bit of everything, and he's selfless.
And
so,
he won 2 national titles in college.
Remember now, people, that's included into the Basketball Hall of Fame. People just think it's about your body of work in the NBA. No, it's college as well. 2 rings where he was the leader of that team, him and Joakim Noah, along with Corey Brewer. That was a 3-headed monster with Billy Donovan at the reins. 2 national championships. So I agree with you, Theodore. And I think it'd be icing on the cake if the Celtics go on to win a championship. I think it solidifies his chances of getting into the Hall of Fame.
All right, Marvin, game on the line. You want Al Horford taking the shot or Reggie?
This is a tough one, but
really?
by the skin of my teeth, I'm going to say Reg. By the skin of my teeth.
I was worried about your basketball knowledge there, Marv.
I will never disrespect.
Well, now it's starting to make sense why we keep losing these sports Emmys now, guys. I mean, we know who the weak link is now, Marvin.
Wow. And all along we thought it was Fritzy. It's you.
Okay.
It's you, Marvin. All right. How do you explain the last 90 seconds with the Pacers last night?
Well, let me just say this. If you're a Pacer fan, and certainly I am one of them, this has to sting. This is a gut punch because, look, and I've heard Rick Carlisle come out post-game, this loss is on me. Number one, yes, he should have called a timeout. I know they had 1 timeout out. He should have used it. You advance the ball. Then you have the whole court to inbound it, your front court as well as the back court. You get the ball in. You play the free throw game. Okay, so you don't call timeout. That's fine. Another thing I would have done, I would have got T.J. McConnell in the game, gotten Miles Turner out. So I would have had Halliburton, Neesmith, Nembhard, T.J., and Pascal Siakam on the floor. That's your speed unit. So I would have had T.J. McConnell taking the ball out, right? And then I would have told T.J., your first look, your second look, if you don't have it, then you call that last time out. Then you would have advanced it. And then hopefully you get the ball in. So those are 2 things. Didn't happen. Turnover happens. Here's another thing I would have done. Okay, so the ball is underneath the Celtics basket. Tyrese Halliburton is guarding Drew Holiday taking the ball out, if you remember the play. I tell Tyrese Halliburton, you've got to keep your left foot on the baseline and make sure Drew Holiday throws the ball to your right, either to the top of the key or to the corner where you can see everything. There's no way Holiday has the vision to pass it through to Jaylen Brown on the weak side if you have your foot on the corner. What Halliburton was doing, and rightfully so, they call this shadowing. He was shadowing, looking behind to see where Jason Tatum was, because you assume Jason Tatum, the number 1 option for the Celtics, is going to get the basketball. So he was shadowing him, trying to see where Tatum was, which he was behind him and kind of coming to the ball, but that's where you wanted the ball to go anyways. So there was a series of mistakes. It's a gut punch. It's very difficult to come back from this. But remember, this is kind of how the Pacers lost game 1 to New York in the first round and found a way to win that series. But Theodore, you've seen a lot of games, and I've been a part of situations like this. It's very difficult when you give games away in the playoffs to get them back. And the Celtics are much different than the Knicks. They're not battered and bruised. They're fully healthy, and they've got guys that can absolutely go get it. This is tough. I'll be curious to see how they rebound in game 2 mentally, Theodore.
Okay, if I said more likely to go 5 games or 7 games now?
Oh, man. It's Can I split the middle and say 6?
No. We take 6 off the board.
Look, as much as I would love my beloved Pacers to go 7 in this, you've got to be real. You're going against a team with the best record. You've got 2 All-Stars in Tatum and Brown. You've got 2 all-time second-team defenders in Derek White, Drew Holiday. 5. I would say 5 because of the gut punch.
Yeah.
And this reminds me, and Paul, you may look this up, this reminds me of Larry Johnson's 4-point play in 99. The series was tied 1-1. Game 3 in the Garden. Larry Johnson, 4-point play. We had that game, we felt. We all remember that. They go up 2-1. People tend to forget. We came back and won game 4, the next game in the Garden, to even the series. But that taste and that feel, it still stung, and we lost the next 2, and we lost to the Knicks in 6. That's why I'm saying it stays with you. If we would have won that game 3, we won game 4, you would have been up 3-1, having to win 1 more. That's why I'm saying you can't give games away. And I've been in that locker room. I know how it feels when you gift wrap a game. They gift wrapped it that game 1, and a game 1 they needed mentally. But again, I want to see how they react in game 2. But to answer your questions, and I'm sorry, I would say 5 because it hurts.
Talking to Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer, on the call tonight. It's game 1 in Minnesota. Kevin Harlan, Stan Van Gundy, Allie LaForce. Tip-off is at 8:30 Eastern. This game, this series, I should say, will come down to what or whom?
I think Karl Anthony Towns for Minnesota. How he played in game 7 is going to – he has to play that way at both ends of the floor. Number one, staying out of foul trouble, because if he stays out of foul trouble, he is so valuable for Minnesota, what he does at both ends of the floor. And I think he's accepted, obviously, Anthony Edwards being that guy, right? So there's not as much pressure on Cat anymore. And I think for Dallas, P.J. Washington was so great for Dallas in that midseason pickup. And what he did in that OKC Thunder series at both ends of the floor. You know what you're going to get from Luka and Kyrie, but P.J. Washington averaged 19 points, I believe, in that series. And in that deciding game 6, really didn't do anything until the last, 3 or 4 minutes of that game. 2 big threes, the big free throws down the stretch. But to me, his lockdown defense. So 2 guys that are like complementary parts, Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota, P.J. Washington. Those 2 are going to have to play well and consistent for each of their ball clubs to be successful in this series.
If we went to the playground and Luka showed up and Anthony Edwards showed up, just looking at him, you had no idea anything about him, and then we're warming up, who would you take first?
I would still take Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And as great and good and fantastic as Luka is, give me that dude, that 22-year-old.
Wait, I'm just talking playground. Now, if I said for the rest of their career, you can have Ant or you can have Luka.
I think, well, Luka's going to have the numbers. He's going to have the triple doubles and the points and all that. So statistically, Luka will have the numbers. But if you're just telling me on a playground, we're at Rucker, and there they both are standing, I'm going with Anthony Edwards. But in terms of the body of work and the numbers and all that, Luka will have that at the end of the day.
Did you ever go to a playground and they didn't know who you were?
You mean once I was professional?
No. Let's say college?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No.
But like if you went to Rucker Park.
I would love to go to Rucker Park. I might get chased out of Rucker Park, but I would love to go to Rucker.
Well, what was it like being in the Garden and, you know, the Pacers, your team, and then Halliburton wears a hoodie at the press conference with, I mean, you were part of it.
Can I just say something? People, I didn't play in the series, New Yorkers. Why are y'all dragging me? I didn't play in the series. How am I a part of all this? I came to do game 2 because that was asked of me. My bosses said, we want you during this game. We all have bosses, right, Theodore? I can't say no. Call the game down the middle. How am I dragged in to, like, I'm out there playing game 7?
I just love that Josh Hart comes over to tell you what the fans are chanting as if you couldn't hear it.
Right. I mean,
he goes, hey, Reg, they're saying F you.
Oh, gee, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that.
Oh, is that what they're saying? Oh, okay.
Really? Is that what they're saying? Look, I expected that too. I understand that. There's a long...
You're in their head. You're in their head.
But here, they, just like in Godfather, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Okay.
And my boys from Indiana, thank you, my young boys, they handled their business in game 7, and we move on. I wasn't playing in the series, guys. I'm 58 years old. I had nothing to do with the series.
The Knicks could have used you.
The Knicks could have used our shooting. I've seen you shoot. The Knicks could have used us. Oh, man, that's bad.
Okay.
Seriously. I feel for them.
Can you go into the Basketball Hall of Fame based solely on a college career? As a player, now, what I'm getting at is Christian Laettner's not in the Basketball Hall of Fame. One of the top 5, 10 college basketball players of all time, I'm guessing?
Well, there's the answer to your question, no. But I do believe he's in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. But no, I don't think he will be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame because his NBA resume isn't like it was in college. So no. But for instance, Grant Hill was on his way to becoming one of the all-time great NBA players before the ankle injury, right?
No.
So he had a small slither of NBA success, correct? Because he was on his way to becoming the face of the NBA. He had won, I believe, was it 2 or 3 at Duke? Did he win 2 championships or 3 championships?
He won 2.
Yeah. Okay, so he won 2 at Duke. So he had the college basketball resume. He was on his way to becoming one of the greats in the NBA. That's why he's in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Laettner's a Hall of Famer.
Because he had both.
Laettner's a Hall of Famer. Laettner's a Hall of Famer. It's your basketball career. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. They don't differentiate between college and the pros. It's your collective body of work there. College coaches go in. So is Laettner to college basketball what Jim Boeheim is to coaching in college basketball?
Isn't Boeheim in?
Yes. So why isn't Laettner?
I think they are probably disregarding his NBA duty of service.
But he wasn't.
How many
bad.
years did he play How many years did he play in the league?
He played like 12, 13 years. Paulie, how long did Laettner play in the NBA?
He played 15 seasons, 14 seasons. He did make 1 All-Star game.
You can make an argument. You can make an argument because he's certainly one of the top, you said it, 5? I would say he's one of the top 5 college players of all time.
Yes. If it was if it was the NBA Hall of Fame, then no, he's not getting it. But it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
You make a strong argument.
Can you tell the story of college basketball without Christian Laettner?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
You cannot.
So I think Al Horford's going into the Hall of Fame.
We believe Al Horford is definitely going in. I do.
Yeah. And he's been on as many All-Star teams as you.
Yes. Drew Holiday going into the basketball.
No. Hall of Very Good, Reg.
I think Drew Holiday, at the end of the day, will have a resume a lot like Joe Dumars.
Yeah, but I don't think we looked at Drew Holiday as the best player on his team. Like, how many times did you ever look at him?
Neither was Joe Dumars.
Well, he was the second best player on his team. Yeah, you had Isaiah, and then you had Joe.
Well, you had a young Rodman there.
No, Joe had to guard Mike. I mean,
yes. Drew Holiday is doing. We're seeing the value of Drew Holiday and why he's always the first person picked on the Olympic teams because he can guard 1 through 4 or 5.
Nobody plays defense in the Olympics. You don't need that. And Joe Dumars didn't play for other teams. Drew Holiday has played for what, 4 teams?
Won a championship in Milwaukee. They traded him for more offense and saw what happened.
He was the third
now
best
he's in the
player.
same position with Boston.
All right.
Drew Holiday is making the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Okay. All right. Yes, Marvin.
Joe Dumars, 6 All-Star appearances.
Oh, so more than Reggie. Okay.
His face.
Oh, who's better?
Wait, here's
Joe
the thing.
Dumars or Reggie?
Here's the thing. Remember now, you're not making the All-Star in the East during my time when Michael Jordan, Joe Dumars, Reggie Lewis, Steve Smith. I mean, there was a number of shooting guards that there was only one spot because Michael was making it every year. You knew that. And Joe was coming off the Bad Boys. So those two were always making it my first 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Yes, Marvin.
My thing is, I said you made it 5 times over a 10-year span. So that means for 10 straight years, you were like right on the cusp of being an all-star, if not making the all-star team.
Are you backpedaling a little bit here, Marvin? It feels like,
hold on.
Hey, don't listen to them, Marvin. They're just trying to cause a little bit of discord.
Yeah, but then you also said, well, 5 in 10 years. Well, what did he do the other 10 years he was in the NBA? You said that. So I mean, there's a backhanded compliment in here somewhere.
Is there?
I don't think there's a compliment.
Him and Al Horford.
Okay.
Same level.
Marv, who do you want? You can have Joe Dumars or Reggie Miller.
Oh, Reggie. Ooh. Oh, that's not even close. Sorry. Sorry, Joe.
I love Reggie. I might have to take Joe. Well, I got to get somebody who's going to guard.
Does Joe have Mahorn and Lambeer behind him, like on that team?
You had the Davis brothers behind you. All right. Well, great to catch up with you. Have fun tonight.
Love you, Theodore. And hey, who won in our category, by the way? Because do I need to do the color purple on who won?
Base.
Who won?
MLB tonight.
What?
Yeah.
Marvin, I want you to come into my office after the show. We have to talk.
Yes, I will. Sorry, Rich.
Okay.
All right. It's Reggie Miller will be on the call tonight. It'll be 8:30 Eastern in Minnesota with Kevin Harlan. Fritzy, give me a little Kevin Harlan.
I'm looking forward to a huge game with Reggie tonight. This is the NBA on TNT.
Stan Van Gundy and Allie LaForce. We'll take a break. More phone calls coming up back after this.